Our genetic code, right? Nutrigenomics, right? We actually adopt a type of a nutritional strategy that allows us to fully express our genetic activation, which is called our phenotype, the physical characteristics of our genes. We want to activate all our epigenetic triggers so we can actually be fully realized, fully awakened human beings. So when you go into your meditation, it's different. I mean, I can tell you this from my own experience. I've been into meditation for about 20 years of my life in different ways. Meditating as a vegetarian and as a high raw foodie is different than when I was eating meat, dairy, basically the byproducts of society. There's a difference. There's a different level of ease, right? And so you find out what works best for you. And here, I'm just here to paint the brushstrokes, to show you what's available, right? So we're going to go direction, detoxification. Let's talk about detoxification really quickly. Now, who here has been on any kind of like cleanse, maybe like water fast or juice cleanse, juice fast, some kind of modified liquid type of fast? Can you show your hands real quick? Okay, great. So this idea of detoxification, this is a big subject, and it's a very in-depth subject depending on where we go with it. The philosophy of cleansing and detoxing, to me personally, this is what it's ultimately about, is that you are stripping away everything that is no longer you or no longer serves you in order to reveal all that you really are. Take the master sculptor. Does the master sculptor just add more clay and add more gunk and layers on top of layers? Is that what they do? Or do they strip away the non-essentials until the masterpiece reveals itself? Each one of you is inherently a genius. And every single bite of any kind of food you're consuming is like a brushstroke on the tapestry of your life, which is a masterpiece ever evolving, ever revealing. Nutrition, in my opinion, is the quickest and smoothest pathway to finding out your genius, because it turns things on, right? If you study epigenetics, it's basically the study of how our environment and how our food and our relationships affect our genetic sequences. The old idea on genetics was that your genes, your genome, and your genes encased in it, that's pretty much it. Like when you're born, that's your lot in life, right? And you're basically, if you either got the lottery ticket and maybe you're super athletic, you're tall, or you're super fast, or you're super smart right at the get-go. And if not, then they put you in a class, like a resource class, right? Because you just don't fit in. You don't meet the grade. You don't meet the standards of society. Which is interesting, because what I can tell from society, and why I think all of us are kind of at a place like this, is that basically the lowest common denominator in society, which I would call mediocrity, has been elevated as the standard. And people are trying to box themselves in to live a standardized life, like the standard American diet, the standard American lifestyle, the standard American, you fill in the blank, right? That's a box. That's a program. And you better believe that program actually affects your genes. It affects the wiring of your neural pathways. And so a lot of what my work is actually all about is deprogramming from the program. And first, helping you understand that there is a program. There is a program that is dictating your peripheral filters, that's dictating your ability to see expansively, to see all the options on the menu board, right? So your circumference of worldview, or your circumference of what's available to you in any area of your life, is directly correlated with the programs that are running up here. There's a term called neuroassociative thinking. This comes out of like things like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and some of these modalities for refining our dialogue, refining the narrative that we have about ourselves, and changing the program essentially. Neuro-associative thinking patterns are basically you have a thought, or no, better yet, you have an emotion. Your mind can't deal with uncertainty, so it needs to create a thought. It needs to create a definition, or better yet, it needs to create a story to match the emotion. Because God forbid you just have emotions and you just feel things and you're just sensitive and you just let things move through you as they would in nature. No, we got to have a story about it. We got to have a whole storyline. We have to have a whole narrative because that's the only way we can make sense of our reality, right? That's a really important thing to understand, is that each one of us has some kind of narrative going on, and it's typically limiting us in any different way that you want to look at it, from our relationships to our nutrition to our ability to actually carry out a cleansing protocol. You know, when you start something new, something comes up called resistance. You know what that feels like? You get a resistance. Oh, that didn't feel good. No, that's crazy. I could never do that. Have you ever had these thoughts? Have you ever had these reactions in your life? Somebody tells you about something. Hey, you know, I just tried this, I just decided I want to go plant-based for like a month. I wanted to go try this raw food thing for like a couple weeks. And somebody automatically is like, oh no, I could never do that. We have reactions, we have resistances, and I really invite all of us to start looking at that and start actually challenging our assumptions, whatever those assumptions may be, right? A caterpillar can't envision what a butterfly sees naturally. And I found that detoxification and cleansing helps us to shed the layers, all the gunk, all the stuff that's not us, and helps reveal the masterpiece.